my name is Comet and welcome to my cosmic corner of the internet where we discuss all things astrology, and today all things Jupiter conjunct Neptune. Yes, this transit is upcoming April 12th, 2022 at 23 degrees Pisces, and this is a rare configuration, and there are so many reasons why this is such a magical, sparkly, shimmery transit and how you can seize this magic within your world. But I also want to make sure to touch on that there is a definitive ugly side to this transit that you're going to want to be mindful of. So we're breaking it all down, where you can feel this energy within your life, how to seize the opportunity from it. Before I dive in, if you get any value from this video, I would really appreciate a like, a comment, a subscription, any little nudge that you feel inclined to give, I am so grateful for. And without further ado, let's dive in. Jupiter conjunct Neptune in Pisces 2022. So this is one of the defining moments of 2022. And this is why a lot of astrologers have been looking forward to 2022, even though it does have some challenges. So Jupiter and Neptune are conjoining at the same portion of the sky. Editing me here, excuse the brief interruption. I just wanted to highlight, even though this aspect exacts on April 12th, 2022, we're still gonna feel its influence throughout the month of April. So we're gonna feel it as it builds and we'll feel it as it leaves because these planets are both so slow. So it's not just limited to that specific day, which is like a random Tuesday. You can activate this magical energy all of April 2022. And this is a rather rare configuration. It happens every 13 years, but the last time that they connected in Pisces was in the 1800s. And why is it significant and more special that it's occurring in Pisces? Well, we know that Jupiter is in its domicile in Pisces, which means it's able to Jupiter, its highest Jupiter, essentially. Jupiter's the planet of higher meaning, luck, abundance, growth. And with it in Pisces, a sign that it rules, it's really able to expand to its fullest. It expands spiritual properties, compassionate properties, altruistic properties. And again, excess and growth isn't always a good thing. That's what we're talking about in the shadow side of this transit. But in the brighter side of Jupiter being in Pisces, it expands all of those lovely facets, lovely facilities of Pisces. And with Neptune in Pisces, Neptune is fairly comfortable in Pisces as well. Now, Neptune, because it is a modern planet, doesn't fall into essential dignity, so it doesn't truly have a home territory, but modern astrologers use Neptune as the Piscean ruler. So we have two planets that are comfy in the territory of Pisces. So within this video, I'm going to be breaking down the 8 tips that I have to make this Jupiter conjunct Neptune the most magical and mitigate any of the potential downfalls of this transit. So the first one is connect spiritually. And these planets are both spiritual, albeit different expressions of it. Like Jupiter is more so academia, it's more so philosophy, it's more so like how we spiritually study and expand. Whereas Neptune is like transcendental meditations. Neptune is like dissolving boundaries with the other side. They're both spiritual, but sort of different sides of the same coin. And the two are getting together in this very spiritual sign of Pisces. So what can we expect the higher level? So with Jupiter conjoining Neptune, there's going to be a rush of energy around spiritual topics. And we've noticed this all together with Neptune being in Pisces. Spirituality is very much the mainstream. Astrology has gotten a boost. Tarot, like all of these things are very much in our pop culture. Like even the response I've gotten saying I'm an astrologer now versus saying I'm an astrologer 5 years ago is different. Like it used to be like, oh, that's kind of weird. Now people are like, oh, my sun, moon, rising, da da da. And that's sort of reaching a zenith with this transit. And we can also find that people are, what I'm hopeful for is that it's a heart softener around people realizing that we are all the same. It should be sort of awakening up energy. Like a lot of people can find that they're becoming more spiritually in tune. So during this transit, April 12th, it exacts kind of early in the morning, 7:42 PST. So if you can't do it exactly on that time, it's like Tuesday morning, people are going to work. They don't have time to meditate. But I will say, try to carve some time, if not that day, that week, to spiritually connect. You can find your intuition is way heightened. You can find that you are receiving all sorts of downloads. You might not even know where to filter them all. For some people, they can find that they're clairvoyant or any sort of psychic facilities gets a boost during this time. So definitely taking some space to tune in and having a journal nearby so you can write down any insights that come in, go to that yoga class, spend time in nature, wherever you are able to tap in. With Jupiter conjunct Neptune, this is really being able to get a lot of spiritual support from the other side. So pray, meditate, ask for support from your guides, ask for support from your ancestors. This is sort of energy where you can really feel tapped in and really feel supported and blessed. So creating some space within your world to tap in and connect. My second tip is create. So Neptune is a artistic planet. And it's a sort of art that is higher level, right? The sort of art that you feel like you are a conduit for, or that is like downloaded through you. And you can experience this while consuming art as well. Like if you've watched a movie where you just get lost, there is no separation between you and that film. You are fully immersed into it. Or when you listen to that album and you are in it, you are one of the Beatles, you are singing along with Janae, whoever it is that you enjoy, I want you to think of the art that you get lost into. And during this transit, you can find that you are very creative and that you are able to really channel some beautiful artwork. I personally have loved the movies that have come out since Jupiter has been in Pisces. Pisces is associated with the film industry, and I just find that the music that has come out lately, I've loved the live music that I've seen, the movies that have come out. Like with it, it can really be this Renaissance energy around all of this beautiful otherworldly art coming out. So whether you consume some art that you enjoy yourself or create it yourself, definitely creating space during this transit to create. So my third tip is to really manifest with this energy. And I'm going to go through every single sign and talk about what this energy is right for. And when I talk through this, I'm going to say if you're this rising sign or you have 23 degrees Pisces in this house. So I'll break it down in both. I'll tell you why I do this. So if you don't know where you have 23 degrees, just go by the rising sign. Just find, okay, I'm a Libra rising. I'm going to fast forward to the part where she's talking about Libra rising. Just go by that. That's whole sign. If you use Placidus, like I do, there is a likelihood that you will have 23 degrees Pisces in a different house than the one that I list for your rising sign. Go by where you have 23 degrees Pisces. If you don't know, just go by rising sign. It's likely to be the case, but there is a chance that it is not if you use Placidus, okay? If you are a Pisces rising in a whole sign, or you have 23 degrees Pisces in your first house, this is the area around self and identity. And you can find either there's this spiritual rush around people are able to look at you as a spiritual resource. This could be a coming out of the closet energy. If you've been sort of hiding your interest in spirituality, you could be, more outward with, I enjoy astrology, I'm actually doing tarot readings, or wherever that is being more outward. But you can also find you are just feeling more confident in being the person that you are. You could feel more spiritually supported around going after what it is that you want. You can find that there's this energy of love and healing around the way that you look, that you're wanting to treat your body better, that you're wanting to raise your vibration and feel better as you do. If you are an Aquarius rising or you have 23 degrees Pisces in your second house, this could be answered prayers when it comes to your financial reality. If you've been in a bleak situation and you're just like, when are things going to get better? I would really empower you. Do some sort of ritual or mantra or something to connect the spiritual world to the material. If you've been in sort of a bleak financial reality, this could be the energy where you're finally seeing the light at the end of the tunnel to be able to build a solid financial reality for yourself. You can find, for some individuals, you could find that you might start, charging for a spiritual gift that you have and feeling worthy of receiving it. Like with second house, yes, it brings forward financial matters. So there could be answered prayers around, I want to get this business off the ground. I want this debt to be mitigated. Finally, I feel like I'm building some forward momentum rather than feeling crushed by my financial reality. With it, it can also be this spiritual support around how it is that you value yourself. So for some individuals, you can feel the sensation around yeah, well, they don't pay me very well, but that's really all I deserve anyway. Or even blocking your blessings because you don't feel worthy of them. So with Jupiter conjoining Neptune, this can be answered prayers for you to be able to see the value in yourself that the rest of the world does. If you're Capricorn rising or 23 degrees Pisces is in your third house, this brings forward an energy around being able to connect with like-minded individuals who are on the same like spiritual wavelength that you are, they have the same interests that you do. This could be an energy where you feel more inclined to want to share more on social media. You can find that there is this inspired energy around a new skill you want to learn. If you've been sort of feeling blocked or restrained around your neighborhood, or there's been difficult connections with your siblings or extended family members, that's also third house. An amazing way to celebrate this, loves, would be taking like a short-term journey. Like I know it's in the middle of the week, but if possible, if you could like go on a road trip or something just to feel inspired and get some new stimuli in, you can feel a lot more mentally inspired, like you want to write, you just feel more inspired by life in general. I would definitely suggest that if possible. And loves, if you are a Sagittarius rising or you have 23 degrees Pisces within your fourth house, this is answered prayers around your living situation. If you have been stuck in a situation that is not serving you, you do not feel like you feel spiritually protected there, this could be the energy to either get out of that situation or have some spiritual solace within it. So whatever your living situation is, if parts of it aren't healthy, it could be an energy where you turn it over to spirit or to source or to God, and magic will occur. That's what's really great about this transit, is that, you know, you could feel so stuck. You're like, this rental market is insane. How am I going to find a place? But just paying attention to the whispers that come from within, if you feel this random like pull around, you should walk the long way from home, and then you walk by a neighborhood and you see like renting now, this place, like seriously be open to miracles and magic. I just want to share really quick in regards to living situation. Miracles, if they do happen. Like my roommate was moving out and I really didn't want a new roommate. This was January of 2020 and I felt so stuck just because none of my friends were really looking, and I was going on these roommate interviews and these individuals, I was just like, I don't want to live. Like it was laughably bad. And basically the people that I connected with, I was like, I don't think I'd want to share space with you. And I just felt so stuck and I was feeling really disheartened. And then one day, kid you not, in yoga, I got this like download, I guess you could say, around downloading the app Nextdoor, which is typically an app where people just complain about their neighbors. So I was like, that's kind of weird. But someone in my neighborhood was looking for an office that they could rent during the day so that they could do their work and then go home, because they had 2 little kids and they were living with their in-laws who were taking care of their kids. And basically when they're working at home, their kids would always be like, Mama, Mama. So she was just looking for a place to rent. So she came by, saw the place, loved it, and rented it for 2 years afterward. And that was such a blessing because that was before everything happened in 2020. So if I was in lockdown with someone random, that would have been really detrimental probably on my mental health. So at that moment, I felt so disheartened, but I was open to opportunities. So I want you to be open to opportunity and creative solutions to issues that you've been having with your living situation. If you're manifesting a home, I would really get clear on it during this aspect. I would create a vision board around what it is that you want and really send it out to source, because, you know, when the universe works in unusual ways and it will pull all the strings necessary to focus on that. Some people could be feeling this energy around their family members as well, as that's fourth house. So prayers answered as it results to home and family. And if you are a Scorpio rising or you have 23 degrees Pisces within your fifth house, please create during this aspect. Please create. You can find that you are much more inspired. You really find that you're having this spiritual rush of energy and you're feeling more tapped in. For some, this could be an energy of feeling healed from your inner child. For some, there could be answered prayers around your children if things have been tough. Like, really, this energy softens our heart space. Like Pisces, we'll get into the downside of this transit in a little bit, but Pisces is an energy that's meant to be compassionate. It's meant to be selfless. And this could really be the energy where we're able to meet our children at that heart, level. We could find that we're able to heal, our inner child or work towards our inner child. We could also find that we manifest, someone really interesting to go on dates with or things of that nature, as fifth house is romance, and you can also find that you're able to invigorate your committed partnerships with this more romantic energy, like flirty banter, and really being able to just soften the heart space, like getting out of, you know, all of that stuff that builds up in relationships and all these stories, and really just meeting one another at that fun, flirty level would be a positive way to lean into this transit. If you are a Libra rising, or you have 23 degrees Pisces in your sixth house, this is answered prayer energy around your health, around your healing journey. It can also be really helpful for calling in any sort of new job, new source of employment. If you're looking to sort of like get your life together, Jupiter conjunct Neptune could be the energy where the spiritual side is like willing to meet you halfway around giving you the motivation to be able to get your, you know, your routine together, to be able to take care of all your errands, like feeling this positive rush of energy around being able to maintain and handle your reality. There could be really a dream job opportunity coming into your hands. This could be for some an energy around getting a new pet, or like a healing energy around a pet. Again, when you feel stuck, when you feel blocked, turn it over to spirit. I'm so sorry I keep talking such woo-woo terms, but I can't help it. It's Jupiter conjunct Neptune, and for you, it's impacting your day-to-day reality. Health is a big one. Integrating new daily routines that soothe both your physical body as well as your spiritual body. Make the most of it. My Virgo risings, or for those who have 23 degrees Pisces in your seventh house. So this is the energy where the spiritual side is really rushing in to support you when it comes to your interpersonal contacts. If you have been, you know, in a relationship and you've been really stuck spiritually around what it is that you should do. Should you stay or should you go? This is a sort of energy where you can get spiritual insight around, okay, I know exactly what I want to do. Like creating that space to tune into your intuition and be like, is this the right person for me? And that could be outside of romantic, that could be business partner too. Just anyone that you choose to partner with. If you've been like, I don't know what exactly to do, this is when you can hear a resounding yes, a resounding no. And for some, it can be this energy around being able to soften the heart space and really heal your relationship. Whether you're in a relationship or heal your relationship past could also be huge. This could be a really positive time around calling in a soulmate, calling in a life partner, like really spending some time, if you are looking for that, dialing into what that person's attributes would be, how they would make you feel, because the spiritual world can really support you in manifesting that for yourself. If you are a Leo rising, or you have 23 degrees Pisces in your 8th house, this is answered prayers energy around any sort of debts that you could owe. There could be an answered prayer around any sort of financial worries you have, particularly as it relates to your spouse's income. It can also be this energy really where you are leaning into surrender, where you are leaning into transformation, and you're really being asked to let go and let God. And if the term God doesn't work for you, you could put in source or whatever else. But 8th house is death. And I'm not saying you're going to die during this, but it's really about our own transformation and the energy around things that we cannot control. So for a lot of you, it can be this really spiritual influence around, okay, I don't know what's coming next. I'm in this huge lens of transformation. I'm just going to trust. Like I can only see as far as my headlights on this dark road, on this road trip, but I can make the entire journey that way. Like there is this energy of surrender, whether it's softening it into connection and letting someone else help you, whether it's softening into the universe and just allowing, you know, the universe to guide your way forward. There is this softness and this energy around being asked to trust and release where it is that you're holding on. If you are a Cancer rising, or you have 23 degrees Pisces in your 9th house, this is a really divinely inspired transit. And it's really divinely inspired, particularly when it comes to reconnecting to your big picture, your why, love, what it is that gets you up every day, what it is that you feel devoted to give to this planet to a bigger level, what it is that gives you personal sense of meaning. Like for some Cancer risings, or for those who have this in the 9th house, you could go on some sort of heartfelt journey or quest, whether it's mental, like embarking upon a new course, embarking upon a new class, or whether it's physical, embarking on a new travel, something of the nature. But regardless, you're in this search for higher meaning, and this can be a transit that either inspires you on where you're going to find that higher meaning, or that you're starting to see the pieces coming together. You're starting to see what gives your life that sense of meaning. If you are a Gemini rising or you have 23 degrees Pisces in your 10th house, this is answered prayers energy around your career, around your public persona, around how people see you, and allowing them to see you really in your authenticity or in your heart space. Like, this could be the energy around embarking upon a new journey of what it is that you want people to know you as. And it's not like from this like egoic, like look at me energy, but with it, Jupiter conjunct Neptune in Pisces, it's really softening into your heart space. Like, embarking upon this new journey, a cause you hold dear, and really allowing your heart and your spirit to guide the way. It could be answered prayers if you've had really tough, challenging experiences with authority figures, with father figures, anything of the nature. It could be an energy of forgiveness. And it's also an energy around allowing yourself to feel spiritually connected to what it is and how it is that you show up within the public eye. And not everyone needs to do something where they feel like they're spiritually connected whenever they're at work, but finding that deeper level spiritual connection when you are there. Like, to a surface level, you might just be sending emails, but to the broader extent, you know, your organization is trying to affect changes in these ways, A, B, and C, and connecting to that. There can be growth if you are unhappy in your career circumstance, as well as putting yourself out there, whether that's on social media or via a new passion project, and putting yourself out there publicly and feeling bold and feeling supported. Because it can be scary when you're launching something, right? It can feel scary, but this sort of energy where you realize you have a whole spiritual support team on your side, and they're the ones who gave you the idea. That's why whenever I get my head around a project, I'm like, firstly, God, spirit source, wouldn't have given me this idea if I didn't have the capacity to fulfill it. And who am I to tell the universe, like, no, that's a bad idea? Like, ideas want to be rooted. They chose you, you know, that particular idea, that particular passion. It's not random. It chose you. So this is sort of energy around feeling that boldness in order to put it out there into the world. If you are a Taurus rising or you have Jupiter conjunct Neptune in your 11th house, this is a sort of energy around feeling inspired again when it comes to your hopes and dreams for the future. You can find that things are clicking together that make your future clearer. You can find you're connecting with groups of individuals who are like-minded, who are on the same spiritual wavelengths as you. And if you don't find that, really spending some time this week, on the week that this exacts, to dial in, what would my ideal community look like? What would I feel like when I'm around them? Because you can find you can manifest a little bit quicker with this energy. If you are an Aries rising or you have 23 degrees Pisces in your 12th house, you can find that there's this enormous spiritual aligned energy within your spiritual world. You can get a lot of divination through your dreams. You can feel more connected to the other side. Your mediumship abilities could skyrocket. You could also find, if you've been struggling with destructive habits, destructive tendencies, any sort of self-undoing, this could be the sort of energy where you ask for support, where you ask for help. Like, if you've been, you know, turning to substances or things of the like, this sort of energy where you can say, like, Spirit, I'm powerless over this. Like, I'm ready to choose a new way of being. I empower you to seek that support. As well as if you've been talking to yourself really negatively and been really down on yourself, this can be a positive energy to heal your subconscious world around how it is that you talk to yourself, the trauma that you hold on to, and really dive deeper into your psychological processing of this world. So my fourth tip is really give to something, give to a cause. This is really a heart-opening, heart-softening energy. Like, the energy of Pisces is about meeting one another in this really selfless, compassionate lens. And you can find this is really heart-centered. It's really altruistic around giving to a cause that you hold dear. And something that you should also be cognizant of giving, if it's time for you to give it, is as well as forgiveness. And it really is a gift that you give to yourself, allowing that weight to lift off of you. Not everyone will be necessarily ready, depending on what they are forgiving for. But if you're feeling this call around, it's time for me to soften my heart and forgive, not for that person, maybe to some degree for that person, but especially for yourself, like giving your spirit the gift of that lightness that forgiveness offers. So it's giving to a cause that you hold dear, or giving to yourself by forgiving someone. This is is a sort of energy where we can let our spirit sort of take the way, allowing ourselves to move forward and evolve our spirits and evolve our experience on this planet. And that could be via giving to a cause that we are passionate about, or giving to ourselves via forgiveness. So now I'm going to go into the shadow side of this transit. So tip number 5 is be discerning. Neptune melts and merges boundaries of all sorts. And during this, we can notice, while the heart opening is great for the aforementioned tip around finding forgiveness and giving to causes we hold dear and connecting to music and movies where we just merge into it, that's all lovely and good. But there can be this energy where we are giving people way too many chances and are not discerning enough. With Jupiter conjoining Neptune, there could be this influence around being so in our heart space that we forget to advocate and assert ourselves. So just remember to be discerning, tune into your intuition, love. Seriously, if something feels off, it most likely is. And while it's beautiful to be compassionate and to be giving and to be altruistic, there are people out there who can take advantage of that. So just important to be mindful of it. And my next tip is beware of these spiritual scammers. I think this is largely because of this aspect. I don't know if you guys have ever gotten a DM like this. I have my first scammer. I knew it was going to happen eventually. I've seen it happen to so many people. And please never give someone who slides in your DMs like this money. Okay, this is not me. The other people are not them, certainly. So with this quickening of all the spiritual influence with Jupiter conjunct Neptune, there's scammers waiting in the wings who are looking to take advantage of that. And with Jupiter conjunct Neptune, we could be wanting these answers so badly that we are taking away our sovereignty by giving the power to other people. Tell me how to feel, tell me how to live. And we can fall more victim to traps and scams like this. And even if it is a legitimate practitioner, so it's not an impersonator, there could also be this energy around, you tell me what to do, I don't want to listen to my intuition, right? But no one knows you more than you do, and any sort of legitimate spiritual professional will always draw the empowerment back to you. They should not be saying, I have all the answers, give me all your money, be dependent on me. The best spiritual practitioners always take you home to yourself. So not everyone who does this is a scammer necessarily, but it can lead to the slippery slope when you're putting all of your power and all of your faith into a human being. Like, sure, they might be a conduit of spirit, but so are you. And the best spiritual practitioners will always take you home to yourself. So just something to be mindful of during this transit. There can be a rush of interest in spiritual arts, whether it's seeking services or spiritual impersonators, but just remember to tune into your own intuition and honor your intuition when it comes to who to work with, okay? Like, don't just work with every single person and get all of these readings all the time. Like, that can muddy your energy. So be intentional about who it is that you want to work with, what point in your life you want to work with them. And that also goes, even if you're not seeking readings, just being mindful of who it is that is on your phone screen, like who it is that you're following. Like, I've spoke about this before, but I do believe that the advent of Facetune is very much linked to Neptune being in Pisces as well, because Pisces is the dream, it's the ideal, and Neptune rules screens, cameras, pictures. And with Neptune in Pisces, there could be this energy about being able to project the dream, and seeing is not believing. Neptune is very much smokescreen energy. So also being discerning around who it is that you're sharing energy with, even without giving them money, like even on a digital level, like really tuning into your intuition. Does this person content make me feel good, empowered? Does it make me feel like I'm comparing myself to them? Like, really check in with your spirit, because a lot of what you see is fake, okay? A lot of what you see is fake. I'm curious when Neptune moves into Aries, if there's gonna be more of a romanticizing around more raw vulnerability. I'm curious to see how it'll go. But in the interim with Neptune and Pisces, especially on social media, especially with photographs, seeing is not believing. 7, escapism can reach a high during this transit because Pisces wants to escape into a daydream, whether it is, reality, elevating reality till it's a dream, or escaping into a daydream via going to excess with anything truly, but like any sort of substances. With Jupiter conjunct Neptune, it could be this sort of influence where we really just want to escape, right? And we can escape constructively via nature, via meditation, via yoga. Please do all of the woo-woo during that, but I would avoid anything that alters reality. Like this transit should already feel kind of trippy and synchronistic on its own. I wouldn't want to, you know, muddy it with all of that stuff. And it's just important that we stay anchored in reality, because the dream can feel better than reality. And while dreams are amazing, they're creative, they could be inspirational, it's just that it's a dream, it's not real. So just being mindful in anything that you are relying on to escape from your problems, because Jupiter conjunct Neptune can speed that up quite a bit, or at least intensify that call quite a bit around escape, come away, avoid your problems. I wanted to end the tips on more of a positive note. I went through the cautions and now I just want to end it with something kind of empowering to wrap up this video. Is really allow this transit to reinvigorate your bigger picture of life. Both Jupiter and Neptune are looking for this something more feeling, and as is Pisces. It really transcends us beyond the physical, beyond the rational, and connects us back to who we are as a spirit, and connects us back to who we are within our evolution. So reminding yourself of who it is that you are, reminding yourself around what it is that you are so passionate about that you just lose yourself within it. That's what this transit is trying to remind us. It's trying to take us home to our own spirit, to our own soul. So reminding ourselves to search for that something more, search for where it is that we find that divine connection, search for the moments that the material reality ceases to exist, or we don't put as much weight on it, and we are just all soul, we are heart, we are all love. So I'm wishing you such a magical transit, loves. Thanks for joining me for this video. Friends, my Instagram handle is @HaleyCometAstrology. My TikTok is the same. My real one, my only account, beware these spiritual scammers. I really think the quickening of this phenomenon is linked to both Jupiter and Neptune being in Pisces, reaching an apex during this transit. So just be super discerning. So just important to be discerning, connect with your heart space, connect with your soul, and make this the most magical transit ever. Let me know what you're looking forward to about this transit below. And until we meet again, drink lots of water and stay cosmic.